Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom, the walking, talking encyclopedia. Samadhi, an even state of the mind. My mission, the impeccable wisdom, knowing which everything is fully known. My greatest discovery, Divyank, the divine design of nature, with which the perfect objects are designed and created. Divyank is the reward of 60 years of integrated education. Impeccable wisdom is enlightening and integrated knowledge is empowering. Now let's start with 8th step of Patanjali Yogasutras. We have been talking of Patanjali Yogasutras in the last quite a few videos. Now this is the 8th step, Ashtanga Yoga, and as per this particular slok is concerned, it brings clearly the pure awareness, a sense of the mind and consciousness, and not its own form. Subject and object of the mind is called Samadhi. Samadhi means even state of the mind. That means whatever is happening with absolute wisdom, impeccable wisdom, and you have no problem whatsoever, and that's the level of consciousness which Samadhi talks about. No wonder is considered the ultimate state of 8 stages of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. From that angle, pure awareness of essence of the mind, consciousness, and all the information you're getting from outside is understood as Samadhi, and that is what this 8th stage is all about. After cognition and realization of the subject and object with contemplative meditations, yogi should go beyond the mind and be in tune with the pure self. So the idea is very clear that once you control the fluctuations of mind, Patanjali Yoga, Vritti, Samrit or Anulom, all the 3 words stand for stop the fluctuation of the mind, you are a yogi. The essence of yoga, as far as Patanjali is concerned, it's only to control the fluctuations of mind, be in tune with yourself. You are a yogi. From that angle, let us understand this particular concept. Only a perfect human being with a perfect experience, study, cognition, understanding, comprehension, and self-realization of every aspect of the subject and object of contemplative meditation can lead to Samadhi. In other words, the essence of Samadhi is Saransh, is what it is all about. To make it very, very clear, whole focus of Patanjali Yoga Sutra centers around fluctuation of the mind. You stop the fluctuation of the mind, you come to your own self, and that is what self is all about. All our problems with the external world, A to Z, reflect in our senses, mind, intelligence, cognition, and whatever it is outside. That is what is important to understand. Here, mind is not only physical senses, indriya, not the emotional mind, not the monomind, not the Vijnana mind, not the Anant mind. Every aspect of the mind, A to Z, is taken into consideration. Once all the fluctuations of the complete thing have come to zero, and you understand A to Z completely with full awareness, with open eyes, only then you can be in tune with universal consciousness. Not by closing eyes, not closing ears, not closing anything. With open eyes, open ears, open senses, open thing. You should be aware of everything, but still be in a tune with yourself. The day you can do that, you have come to a state of even state of the mind. That means in that state, you know A to Z of everything fully, completely. You have no doubt whatsoever why this is happening, why this is happening, why this is happening. The day you are able to understand A to Z of every aspect, whether it's an object or it's a subject, A to Z, that is the idea of Samadhi, in my opinion, to the best of my understanding. And no wonder in the first 60 years of my life, I have done exactly the same thing. And now I'm able to share that with an open eye, with an experience of myself and higher self, and talk about something which has been experienced by me one by one, And then I've been able to explain the same thing step by step with the help of perfect human anatomy in the light of Deviank ratio, Deviank sequence, Deviank infinity, and A to Z, completely mathematically conclusive design. Maths, physics, chemistry, biology, A to Z, whether it's a perfect anatomy, whether it's perfect physiology, perfect biochemistry, all the perfect things, the way it is designed to be a perfect reflection of macrocosmic universe in microcosmic human body. That's what I'm going to talk about it in this particular concept. So from that angle, this alone can be understood completely, provided we understand a first line of Patanjali Yogasutras to the last line of Patanjali Yoga, whole thing in an integrated way. If you can understand, I think we have the true understanding of Patanjali Yogasutras. We are passing through the phase of understanding Patanjali Yogasutras before we move on to other things. Let's understand how this is reflected, what kind of knowledge it can give, how it can help us to be one with yourself, one with the world, one with everything, and be in a position to be in love with entire universe by and large. So from that angle, you have come to literally your own Swarupa Shunyam Eva Samadhi. You have to come to the emptiness. You got to come to the zero level. That is your true self. The day you can do that, you are in tune with your soul, and then you are one with the universe. That is the objective with which. Now, in the light of this particular background, now let's understand how 8 yogis, stages of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, were explained so that we can understand all the 8 stages very clearly. Before that, we can go on to the next stage by and large. So let's start from next stage, which is the beginning of first. Yamahas, the 5 virtues of life, is absolutely essential to be understood. I have been saying from the day one, Satya Meva Jayate, Om Tat Sat, Om Anantam, Om Satyam Shivam Sudram. Everything which stands with Om, stands with Sahasrara Chakra, stands with the truth, stands with absolute wisdom. That is the first thing which I always talk about when it comes to the Yamas. Second is ahimsa, non-violence. Come what may, no human being is expected to kill anybody or do anything if you are on this spiritual science work. If others are doing it, I have no issues. I'm only talking from spiritual science journey. I'm not talking of everyone on the whole. Non-stealing is the third factor which comes to my mind that should also not be reserved to by a spiritual scientist who wants to move higher and higher in the light of universal consciousness. Brahmacharya, having abundance of testosterone or estrogen, converting that into ojas, making it used for perfect physical health, emotional health, mental health, spiritual health, and being a perfect human being, and then be in tune with universal consciousness is what is brahmacharya. That means it's the greatest credit which goes to brahmacharya. Apigraha, not including things which are not required. Keep only things which are required and stick with that and move on with that. If you are able to do that, you are in tune with universal consciousness. These are the 5 main great virtues which each and every one has to understand, implement in day-to-day life from the beginning till the end. If you can do it, you are in tune with universal consciousness. Next is niyams, the great disciplines, and without discipline you can't adhere. Getting up early in the morning, like what I do at 3:30 Brahma Muhurtam, is absolutely essential. Then having bath outside and having bath inside to purify inside and outside is the second part which is important. Then santosh, content with each whatever we have, we should be satisfied. Learn to make optimum use of whatever is with us, whatever is required, work with that. When next stage would be the austerities, all the Yajurveds, all the austerities are designed to produce heat outside and heat inside so that your consciousness is much more clear to move up and up to the higher and higher levels of consciousness. Meantime, for the self-study of yourself from atom to element to molecule to compounds to cells to tissues to tissue organs, organ systems to a whole thing should be totally known to you, then you can understand the entire universe very clearly. Then understanding there's a higher self and be tuned with that, so that after understanding yourself completely, you can be in tune with universal consciousness. What a beautiful 10 steps of Yam and Niyam. If you can stick to that, you can definitely be in tune with universal consciousness. Coming to Yogasutras, I have been saying from the day one, there are 108 sutras or shlokas which reflect about 108 different kinds of yogic processes, which everyone should know, so that every aspect of the 100 trillion cells of the body are flexible and you can remain perfectly active in 60s, 70s, 80s, 90, 100 plus also. If you can maintain that and be flexible, sit in a subtle stage completely, is done. If you can run all the 100, fine. If you can't do, at least go for morning walk, go for evening walk, and keep every cell activated 24/7. And if you can do yogasana, something like this, wonderful. From that angle, this yogasana is definitely one of the typical examples for anyone who want to understand Patanjali Yogasutras completely. Pranayam, the breathing, as I've been saying, for perfect physical health is important, emotional health is important, so is oxygen for that. Pranayam centers around absorption of oxygen from the atmosphere and expulsion of carbon dioxide from the body. This balance has to be absolutely in tune. So absorption of oxygen, which is Agni element, which is the middle of the five bhutas, and if you reduce heat, you go to solid and water. If you increase heat, you go to Vayu and Antariksh, to the universal. Both involution and evolution is centrally connected with pranayam, and that is what I have been trying to say in different things, in different forms, one by one, so that you know, understand each and everything of pranayam by and large. So pranayam, oxygen, absorption and expulsion of carbon dioxide, so that the maintenance of oxygen, carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is maintained, and we have a perfectly healthy physical, emotional, mental, spiritual one to be in tune with universal consciousness. From that angle, now let's move on to the next stage. Pratyahara, the withdrawal of senses. We are connected with the external world, and first objective of everyone should be to understand A to Z of every aspect of the universe fully, knowingly, so that we know what is happening around, so that we can be part and parcel of it, the most healthiest, perfect way. And that is what education is all about. The right education, right knowledge is Akhand Vidya, and that is what makes you perfectly healthy and be tuned with yourself, tuned with everybody, and that is what it is all about from Pratyahara. Having understood everything, having own thing, but with the eyes open, eyes thing, then withdraw your consciousness from external world to the heart level. Initial, it is Muladhara. Now you're bringing it to heart, and that's why many of the Upanishads talk about as if Atma is equal to the thumb size and lies within the heart. I'm not going to details of that, but I do believe people who believe in Bhakti Yoga, devotional yoga, they would be focused more on that, and I would leave it to them. Next is dharana. Once you withdraw all the senses, all the indriya, all the things inside, now then create a shield around the inner mind, and that is what dharana is. It's not concentration for a short time. Mind cannot go out again. Mind can be used to concentrate, contemplate fully inside only, and that is the idea object. But with the eyes open, ears open, all the senses open, you should be in a position to do it. If you can do that, that is what would make you one with the universe 24/7. Having done that, withdrawn all the senses from the external world, and then created a shield around the mind within the body, then you should be in a position to go to the next stage, a pinpointed concentration on any object or subject of the mind which you are discussing about. I have been saying from the day one, everyone, whosoever it is, if you want to be a spiritual scientist in the world, I'm not talking about every human being. It's not possible for everybody to be in tune with universal consciousness 24/7. But few selected ones who want to do that, they got to make sure that they understand every subject: maths, physics, chemistry, biology, all the medical subjects, all the psychology, all the astronomy, all the astrology, almost every subject of the world they should know. And then see what is the common between all of that. If you have done that, you have a lot of subject matter in the brain to contemplate and then find the ultimate truth. And this whole objective of my videos are only meant for the people who are looking only for spiritual science experiences, not just for your own physical health, this and that. This is just preparing you for the entire world. At the end of it, you should know each and everything of everything completely, fully, so you could move higher and higher in every level of consciousness to the highest level of universal consciousness. Since I'm talking about Samadhi, my focus is more on spiritual science now. Then take one subject, do one dhyana, learn A to Z, and then bring out every aspect, and then have a complete magic of 10 points, which is very, very important from every angle. Then tick mark each, whether all the 10 marks are answered effectively, properly, without any issue. That means you are in tune with universal consciousness. That should be the objective of dhyana, which is pinpointed concentration of the mind, in which also senses, mind, emotional, mental, intuitive, and awareness, all put together. Thoughts of everything should come to the zero level. You should be aware of the truth completely one by one. Once you can do that, you are in tune with universal consciousness. So in other words, you can say mind remains within the mind. Mind can be used to consider and contemplate fully inside only. Reward the impeccable wisdom. Having done that, let's move on to the next stage, which is the ultimate 8th stage of Patanjali Yoga called Samadhi. Samadhi, an even state of the mind. I have been saying very clearly, unless until you understand all the things related to your 100 trillion cells, all the indriya, all the senses, all the sensory inputs, all the information which is coming within that. So in other words, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, by and large, is more focused on the sensory component, getting all the information from outside, understanding everything, and then taking appropriate action to make sure that whatever you decide to do is the ultimate in consciousness. From that angle, an eternal state of the mind, which includes indriya, unconscious mind, subconscious mind, emotional mind, mental mind, manomaya kosh, vigyanmaya kosh, scientific mind, praganmaya kosh, absolute wisdom, and complete awareness should be A to Z known to you completely. Only then you can be in a state of samadhi. And one point which I'm trying to bring very clearly, this is nothing but association of the posterior chakras from Mooladhara right up to the head. You can rise up in that particular thing through the ascending tracts of sensory system, not descending tract. I'm not bringing that into the picture as far as now is concerned. Patanjali, to the best of my knowledge, is talking about ascending consciousness from Mooladhara to Sahasrara through the posterior chakras, through all the 8 levels I'm talking about. I'm not talking about chakras at all. It's only the process which is associated with, which is related to emotions, physical health, sensory inputs, all the information which I have already given in the form of nervous system A to Z. Now that information, now you can apply and understand what exactly Samadhi I am talking about. So from that angle, now let's understand this concept a little more clearly. Emotional mind, mental mind, consciousness should be steady, one and large. Satchit Anand, and equanimity should be the objective at the end of this particular journey of 8 stages. All the fluctuations of the mind should come to zero, and you should be aware of everything. Once you are aware of all the mental fluctuations of all the 8 stages of consciousness, you come to your pure self, which is Swarupa, your own self, your own soul, your Antaratma, your Kundalini, or Paramatma, whatever you may call it. Only after these 8 stages you can expect the Kundalini to rise by itself and become aware, and then you can go to higher and higher. Another thing, as I told you, to start this journey, it's always with the Muladhara chakra, but when you come to Samadhi, it is always Sahasrara chakra. So I literally come from backside, Muladhara to Swadhisthana, to Nabhi or Manipura, Usha, Anahata, Vishuddhi, then you have Ajna, you have Vigyan, you have Pragyan, and you Sahasrara. All the 10 stages on the backside, when you come to the Samadhi state, you have come to the even state of the mind, and you are absolutely in tune with yourself, tuned with the world, tuned with the consciousness. In other words, all the knowledge required to be in tune with yourself, tuned with the world, tuned with the higher consciousness, you do within 8 stages of Samadhi itself. So having done that, I can tell you, I find this particular explanation understood very clearly. Then you can go to the next stage, how you're going to implement that within the physicalized body. This is all about ascending tracts and the posterior side of the nervous system, which are associated with ascending tracts only. If that is clear, I think I'm very clear that now I have laid the foundation for a spiritual scientist step by step, much more closer. And I'm sure someone who's seriously interested can do wonders thereafter. Coming to the last picture, let me say same thing, starting at the zero level, Muladhara chakra, to Swadhisthana chakra, to Nabhi chakra, to Usha chakra, Anahata chakra, Vishuddhi chakra, Ajna chakra, Vigyan chakra, then Pragyan chakra to Sahasrara chakra. Through the posterior side, once it's understood, and I'm sure you know what exactly I'm talking about and how to go about it. So in other words, put together, all the 8 stages of Patanjali Yogasutras revolve around complete 100 trillion cells of the body, complete physicalized body, completely emotional mind, completely mental mind, completely Vigyanmaya mind, completely Pragyanmaya mind, all the information you can get from the external world completely, and at the end of it, learn to understand each and everything completely perfectly. You are in a position to take all the appropriate decisions to be taken thereafter to lead a kind of life which is going to be in tune with universal consciousness, going to make you a perfectly integrated spiritual scientist. In the process, by doing this alone, the Atma from Kundalini, from Muladhara, rises to Sahasrara Chakra. And there itself it can give you all the knowledge of the external world. You can explain A to Z of everything perfectly, and that is what it is all about. So having done that, let me put it this, so that we can go to the next stage, where I'm going to talk about it, how things start happening thereafter, and what is the real beauty of Patanjali Yogasutras. Come to the next stage. Let me not talk about it. Let me just give you some time and talk about it and give you a stage what it makes you to be in tune with universal consciousness. From that angle, I am happy that all my share, my experience in all these 8 stages I've explained step by step, and I'm happy with that. With that, I say thank you very much. It's been lovely talking to you.